Do you want to build bigger biceps? These are the 4 exercises you need to include in your arms training routine. And this isn't just going to be bro science, it's going to be things that are reinforced by biomechanics to help make your workouts more effective. Before jumping into the actual exercises, 2 things you need to know. Number 1, if you're trying to build muscle, you need a muscle building diet. A lot of people run into mistakes trying to get leaner and get bigger arms at the same time. But if you're purposefully restricting calories to try to lose fat, you're also going to restrict your body's ability to build lean muscle. So if you want to maximize arm development, you're going to focus on adding overall size and muscle together instead of trying to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. It's like hitting the gas and the brake and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. With your heavy compound exercises, think any of your back builders, like rows, like pull-ups, like pull-downs. First thing we want to do is take our grip from pronated to supinated. By simply making this little switch, we are taking exercises that are a little bit more back focused and adding a bigger aspect of training your biceps. So instead of a barbell bent over row with a pronated grip, use an underhand or a supinated grip. Instead of doing pull-ups, chin-ups. Instead of doing all your pull-downs with a pronated overhand grip, go supinated and bring them in a little bit more. That is going to put more work directly on the biceps, and in many cases, if we narrow that grip up a little bit, especially on something like a chin-up or a pull-down, it's going to put the biceps through a greater stretch and make it a more effective muscle builder. Because we're able to move more weight with those exercises, that's going to create more force production directly within a muscle and improve what we call mechanical tension, the primary driver for muscle growth. Now, first up, for the best muscle building exercises for your arms, boop, chin up. Let's go. The stronger a muscle gets, the more force production it can create. Therefore, we can start to lift even lighter weights with our isolation exercises, with more weights by getting stronger on heavy compound exercises like chin-ups. Now, the key with chin-ups is this. We want to be shoulder width or slightly more narrow. That is going to maximize the stretch on the bicep all the way down. So when we're lifting a heavier weight, our body, and maybe some external weight with a full stretch, that is muscle building magic. Now, when it comes to doing chin-ups to build bigger arms, one of the biggest things we got to be aware of, elbow pain. A lot of times using a fixed bar is going to create a lot of torque directly on the elbow, and I've seen this result in issues with the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. So I like to use something like Angles 90. These are a really simple, cheap tool that you can get that allows a free range of motion. So if we're looking at a pull-up, right, if we're going to go wider like this, we're going to bias more towards the lats. If we start to go a bit more narrow, now we get the lats, or now we get the biceps through a full stretch, and we can have a grip that is not fully supinated, maybe quasi-supinated, which is going to be a more natural range of motion. So with chin-ups, we want to get really strong in the rep range of 5 to 8 reps here. Once we can get 5 to 8 reps, I like to start adding weight to really maximize the effectiveness of each and every single rep. I'll tell you, one of the most effective arm building workouts I've ever done was designed by Charles Poliquin. And it took 5 rep chin-ups with a 5-second eccentric, meaning we're taking 5 seconds on each rep to lower down. And that was paired with the second exercise we're going to cover in a second, incline dumbbell biceps curl. But this combination puts the biceps through a full stretch. It's going to absolutely obliterate your biceps, and it's going to build some bigger lats at the same time. So the best exercise, close grip chin-ups. Get super strong in the 5 to 8 rep range. Exercise number 2 is an incline dumbbell biceps curl. This is my favorite biceps exercise of all time. Notice the elbow position is behind my torso. When we do this, we actually train the long head of the biceps more effectively. If you notice, my biceps are under a massive stretch all the way through this exercise. This helps build that long head. More or less, it's going to develop that biceps peak for more impressive biceps. Now, the key on doing an incline dumbbell curl, we do not want to use the heaviest weight possible. Notice the attention I'm paying to A, keeping a consistent elbow position here, and full stretch on the bottom. On the bottom of each rep, I'm actually flexing my triceps, which forces the biceps to relax, then takes that contraction all the way through that full range of motion. Here, I will go anywhere from 8 to 10 or 10 to 12 reps per set with a 3-second eccentric. This is an incredible exercise to finish off a workout and get an incredible biceps pump. Now for the third exercise, we're actually just going to flip over on the same incline bench and do a spider curl. Notice here my arms, my elbows are out in front of my torso. This is going to train the short head of the biceps more effectively, which, if you want to think about how it looks aesthetically, it's going to be when your biceps are basically in a t-shirt. Are they thick on the bottom, or are they kind of thin and rarely? So again, right here, really got to focus on trying to keep that elbow position tight. I'll squeeze actually against the bench right here. Good stretch all the way down. Now another exercise you can use that complements this or could be similar is a preacher curl. So easy bar preacher curl, dumbbell preacher curl, those are all options. An easy alternative, if you do not have a preacher curl setup, is a bench at home like this. The only issue is, if you hit the bottom of the bench here, the biceps will unload. Now this fourth exercise is a pinwheel curl, also known as kind of a cheat hammer curl. Technically, this actually trains your brachialis, which is a muscle that sits underneath your biceps and creates more upper arm girth and pushes your bicep up. So while it's not technically a bicep builder based on the hand position, it is something that will give you a bigger upper arm and bigger looking biceps. So with this exercise, instead of going straight on like a typical hammer curl, what we like to do is we like to come across to the opposite shoulder and really focus again. We get that squeeze on the bottom where we flex that tricep. The thing I like about a pinwheel curl is we can actually go a little bit heavier so you can get a very slight cheat. But the key to making that cheat work is you have to control that eccentric all the way down. We know that muscles are stronger in the eccentric, lowering the weight down, which is why you can lower a bench press down to your chest but might get pinned underneath it. So if we leverage that, we can use a tiny little bit of body language to get the weight up and then control it down. This will tap into more fast twitch type 2 muscle fibers, which are prone to growth, in addition to fatiguing out the type 1 muscle fibers if we are doing this at the end of a workout and or with higher reps. Building bigger arms doesn't need to be complicated. First, we have to focus on building more size overall if you want to see large gains in terms of your arm size. Number 2, take your classic back exercises, flip them over, use a supinated grip. That's going to start biasing exercises that use a heavier load to hitting your biceps. That creates more mechanical tension and more force production within the muscle, which is going to be a key driver for muscle growth. Then start with those 4 exercises. Chin up, use a closer grip. If you have options to use some type of grip that allows that free range of motion, that's going to help preserve your wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Number 2, an incline dumbbell curl, because the elbow is behind your body. It's going to put that long head under a great stretch. Keep it light, but master that tempo and that squeeze on each rep. Number 3, flip it over, spider curl. The elbows are out in front of the body, so it's going to hit the short head of the bicep. Also, you can use a preacher curl as a substitute if you do prefer it. And then number 4, a cross-body hammer curl, also known as a pinwheel curl. This hits the brachialis, which creates more separation between the upper arm, which is going to push that bicep up and give you bigger looking biceps. Now, if you found this valuable and there's another muscle group you want me to cover, drop it in the comments below. And if you have any questions on these exercises, again, let me know below. I'm more than happy to continue the conversation there. Finally, if you want a copy of our Ultimate Arms Training Guide, 100% free, make sure to check the description below, grab that link, and start building bigger arms today.